Hello everyone and Happy New Year from all of us here at SUTV Live. Sheffield United's first game of 2023 takes them to the capital to face Queen's Park Rangers as they chase a sixth straight win that would re-establish an 11-point cushion over third place. Kick-off is at 8 o'clock tonight. Before then, we'll have all of the team news and hear Paul Heckingbottom's thoughts on the win over Blackpool, and Jack Lester and Ollie Norwood look ahead to tonight's match at Loftus Road. Kick-off just under an hour away, and for all the match pass information and broadcasting regulations for today's game, go to the website sufc.co.uk. Happy New Year, good to be back. Here we are at our studio at Bramall Lane, building up to Sheffield United's game at Queen's Park Rangers tonight. My two guests, former Blades defender Kevin Gage and a current Blades defender in Ellie Wilson. Good evening to you both.
Good evening.
Happy New Year.
Thank you, and to you.
What are your New Year's resolutions, Kevin? Have you got any? And more importantly, will you stick to them?
Well, I think I probably made a resolution a few years ago not to make any New Year's resolutions because no one ever sticks to them. So no, it's a bit old hat, that, isn't it?
No, I can't disagree with you. Ellie, your hopes for 2023? What have you got?
Hopes 23. Hit the ground running with the Blades. Obviously the lads as well. Want to keep being on a winning streak and a lot of gym-based targets, you know, but other than that, I've not thought too much about it.
Did you say gym or gin?
Gym, yeah. Gin. Well,
if you'd have said gin, I'd have been right there with you. In terms of Sheffield United, though, it's a case of trying to carry on from where they left off in 22, isn't it?
Oh, exactly. I think we've got the most points or something in 22, haven't we? Which is remarkable. Don't need to change anything, do we? I think actually, going to whisper it quietly, but I think we'll get even stronger, you know, as the season progresses and all our players come back from injury and get fitter and as I say, stronger. So yeah, high hopes for the rest of the season.
What are your thoughts on United and how they're looking at the moment?
Yeah, I mean, they're in a great position. Anybody chasing a first or second spot in the league, that's where you want to be. And the fact that they're up there now, it just puts pressure on the teams around them. And I think things have really started to come together in the last few games, putting in good performances. So hopefully they can keep it going.
Let's have a look at the team then for tonight, shall we? There are three changes for the Blades for this game at Queen's Park Rangers. Bogle, Robinson and McAtee, the three to make way. In come Baldock, Egan back from suspension, and there's a start for Tommy Doyle as well. Kevin, your reaction to that?
None of those changes surprise me. Certainly Egan's always going to come back in, of course he is. He's our defensive rock, our leader at the back there. I completely understand the reasoning behind giving George Baldock the nod over Bogle. Bogle's been brilliant, by the way, in the games he's played, but Baldock's a little bit better defensively, and we just want to make sure Bogle's okay for the rest of the season, and I think they're going to switch it round and mix and match, you know, that right wing back spot. The one people might be slightly surprised with is McAtee, you know, stepping down, but he's been absolutely superb since we came back off international break. And Tommy Doyle, he's strong and he's solid in there, and he obviously gives a little bit more solidity in there. So yeah, I think it's just a case of resting McAtee and giving Doyle a shirt.
This is the beauty, though, Ellie, isn't it, of having strength in depth?
Yeah, that's the thing. You know, before Christmas, we're struggling with injuries, and it's nice to have a lot of players back. Obviously, you've got Anel who's been back, Billy's in the starting position as well, and that's just really good to see. And the more strength and depth that you have in your squad, you know, the more confident you can go into games and rotate players as well. So, like you mentioned with Tommy Doyle and McAtee, it might just be a case of resting and switching things up a little bit. I
know he's not starting tonight, but I've not had a chance to ask you about McAtee's recent form. He's been sensational, hasn't he? I remember being here with you for that Luton game, and he was hooked at half-time. He was in danger of getting sent off, actually, in the first half. It was like a fish out of water, but what a transformation.
Yeah, I think it was always going to come because he's obviously got the ability. You don't play for Man City at 19, 20, you know, unless you've got ability. So I think he always had it in him, and it was just coming to terms with the physical demands of the Championship. I read an article or an interview with him recently, and he's been looking back at the games he's played, and he watched the whole Luton game again, or the half he played anyway, and realised what he was doing wrong and realised where he should have been. But he's been superb. I mean, what a good player when he gets the ball on that left-hand side, and he seems to slow the game down, a bit like Sander Berg. You might have watched him do it. He slows the game down, and then he injects a bit of pace and a bit glides past players for fun. Fantastic player. And as an impact sub, we talked about him not playing tonight and Doyle getting the nod. We'll see him tonight at some stage, and he'll come on after 60, 70 minutes. And, he's got 20 minutes to perform, and he'll be coming on full of confidence, full of beans, and ready to have a real impact on the game.
He's not quite at Phil Foden's level yet, but there are similarities, aren't there, in his game?
He's great with the ball at his feet. He's got really good vision and awareness. And like I said, when he first came in, he was probably finding his feet a little bit in terms of the physicality, speed of play. And he's got the quality. It's just, can you do that at championship level and, when you're in the thick of it? And he's proven that he can. I'm sure after the last game, he'll be massively high on confidence, and he's got a lot he can contribute when he comes in.
If you're wondering where Max Lowe is tonight, we're told he's out with a side strain that he suffered in that game against Blackpool, came on from the bench in that game. So he's not involved this evening. Let's have a little chat about Kieran Clark, because he was out for a long time. What do you think he's brought to the table, Kevin?
He's brought Premiership quality. He's always been a good defender. Big transformation from him, because I must be honest, when he played against Watford, first game of the season, he played right side centre half, and he was terrible, I think, by his own admission. So that was obviously a one-off. Then he's got injured, everybody forgot about him, but he's come back in with a bang. He looks as if he's been playing for Sheffield United all his life. He played the centre of the three centre halves against Blackpool and was absolutely magnificent at heart of defence, heading everything away, clearing stuff out the box. Playing the Egan role, really, leading the team, as I say, from the back, making sure everybody did their jobs. But when he plays on the left-hand side of the midfield of the central defensive three, he looks so comfortable coming forward on the ball now, which is a big part of how we play, obviously. So I think he's bringing that to his game as well. He's getting into the Sheffield United system.
It's such a big role to fill as well, that Egan centre-back position, and you want somebody who's going to be dominant, commanding, come and win those headers. The fact that he's comfortable in possession as well means he is flexible across that back line. But as you said, against Blackpool, he had a great game. And
I think it was a masterstroke from Hecky, actually, because when Egan got sent off and Basham came on, didn't he, to play right, and Anel went into the central defensive spot, everybody just thought that was going to happen against Blackpool. I was sat in the stand going, well, it's okay, we've got Basham. Basham will play there, and now we'll go in the middle. Now, Hecky's obviously looked at what Blackpool offer. They had some very... Medine and Yates, two very tall, strong centre forwards. He probably just thought, you know what, we need Kieran's aerial ability there. Leave Anel on the right hand side role that he seems comfortable in. Don't disrupt it too much, and just do the job there.
Plenty more to come then as we build up to Queen's Park Rangers against Sheffield United, which kicks off at 8. A reminder earlier on, Burnley won at Swansea, so they've opened up more of a gap at the top, but Sheffield United, of course, can cut it down again with victory at Loftus Road this evening. A reminder of the team news again, 3 changes: Bogle, Robinson and McAtee, the 3 to drop out, Baldock, Egan and Doyle, the 3 to come in. Sander Berge continues in midfield, of course, scored in the last game against Blackpool, and earlier on we grabbed a quick word with him ahead of this one at QPR tonight.
Sander, Happy New Year, no time to celebrate, games coming thick and fast.
Yeah, that's how we want it, as a professional football player. This is a nice period, a lot of games and big crowd as always. So, no, it's good, and obviously when you win, it makes it even better.
You've come back from injury and come into this long, thick run of games. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I mean, obviously I've been thrown into it, but I feel strong. I had a good, pre-season in the break, and I've been able to cope with 90 minutes now, better and better. So, I'm feeling strong, and the more minutes you get, the better you feel.
Everybody's playing well. Everybody's coming into this game relatively fresh, shall we say. How's the mood in the dressing room?
Oh, very high, obviously. The spirit when you win, and even when we rotate and we put someone else in, we're still as strong, So it's a competitive spirit in the group, and we all do well these days. So that's what we don't want to bring to every game, and we just have to reset and go again and be the best we can be.
Finished 2022 with a goal. Will you start 2023 with one as well?
That's the plan, or maybe get an assist, but anyway, try to create something which will bring the victory in our favour.
Top man.
Thank you. Mate. Thank you.
Well, Sander Berge there, who was on the score sheet at Blackpool last time out, as the Blades came back from the seaside with all 3 points.
And we're underway here at Bloomfield Road as Sheffield United look to end 2022 on a winning note. Strong break this from Poveda, decent hit, and Foderingham had to tip it onto the bar. Robinson back in the side, we'll give you that. Here's McAtee, lovely feet. Harbadadic gets a shot away, but a nice little pass in as well for Njai. Berge takes a touch, and there's the finish, sublime from Sander Berge. 4th goal of the campaign for the Norwegian. Lovely build-up play involving Bogle, and an assist again for Iliman Ndiaye, who seems to be collecting them at the moment. That's 4 in as many games. Sharp. Still Billy Sharp. Bogle on his outside. Bogle! Wonderful close control. Robinson. McAtee. So we're underway again at Bloomfield Road. And Ollie Norwood has tried one from distance here. It's not the first time we've seen that this season. Carey's free kick towards the back post, headed away by Jayden Bogle. And there's a slip which might allow a Sheffield United counter-attack, and James McAtee's already sprinting inside the Blackpool half here. McAtee might go all the way himself. James McAtee! Brilliant! Sensational solo effort from James McAtee. Second in as many games. But how far has he run with the ball there? Defence into attack, and McAtee strokes it in to give United a 2-goal lead. Something off the training ground maybe here as they spin away from the near post. Look like a push, play on, chance in. Forced over the line by Ekpiteta. First of the campaign. The central defender has got Blackpool back in the contest. 2-1 the Blades lead. 2 on him. Norwood, decent hits, very good save from Grimshaw.
Well, after that game, Jayden Bogle reflected on what he felt was an important win.
It was massive for us. You could see in the game how much we fought for it. We knew before the game what we'd have to do to come here and get a big result and leave with the 3 points, and we've done that today. We showed fight, determination, experience at times, and I think we dealt with what they threw at us. So I think, yeah, we deserved it.
Yeah, it was all parts of the job, wasn't it? At times you had to defend really well as a team. At times there was some great attacking play.
Yeah, I mean, that's the balance we've got in the squad. We've got a lot of experience, and then we've got youth as well. We've got players that can head and kick it, and we've got players that can play out as well. We've got attacking threats. We've got everything in the team, which shows out there today. When we're willing to do the dirty stuff as well, then we can get the points.
What does it mean to you guys to be 11 points clear of third in the race for automatic promotion?
Yeah, it's nice to know. I don't think you can look into that too much. It's still early on. But we just take it game by game and keep doing our thing in training throughout the week and keep preparing right for the games. And hopefully at the end of the season we'll achieve what we want to achieve.
Few people would not think that it might be a race between Burnley and Sheffield United for ultimately the title. Do you guys see them as a spur?
I think we know they're a good team, as there are many good teams in the division, but I think we just need to focus on us and what we do, and I think it will take care of itself. 50
points though at this stage of the season, that's a tremendous achievement.
Yeah, it is, but again we just try not to look at the table too much. It's hard not to, but yeah, we just need to keep taking it game by game and hopefully keep picking up 3 points as the season goes on.
A good night then for Jayden Bogle, and a pleasing night's work for the manager, Paul Heckingbottom.
Yeah, really pleased. I thought we got it right in terms of we knew what we were going to face, and I thought we defended the box well all night and showed some good bravery in the first half to try and keep playing, because we know they were going to step against us and go man for man, and so we were happy to take the ball and risk possession, knowing that when we played through that midfield or could go into the front men, we'd bypass that press and we'd get chances. So pleased with that. And then it was a similar story to Wigan, really. We get on top and we're comfortable and good value, and then a goal we're not happy with, obviously, with the decision, and then one we could do better with defending across. Changes the game a little bit, but to a man we defended the box very, very well.
The McAtee goal will get the headlines, won't it? But it's his form in the last sort of 4 or 5 games is evidence of a player that's really developed over the course of his time here.
Yeah, and he can go further, but listen, no one's had a tougher baptism, if you like, than Mac. He had to be patient to get in, and we got in. I brought him off at half-time in his first start, then had to be patient and get back in again, in a position that is different because of what we ask him to do. It's not like him playing as a 10 for City in their 4-3-3. There's a lot more without the ball that we expect him to do, and there's a lot more without the ball that this league demands he does. And he's took it on board, he's worked hard, whether it's been video, whether it's been on the grass, whether it's been the fitness. And then it's given him the confidence, I feel, to go and show what he can do with the ball, because we've got some good footballers in our side, but we wouldn't win anything, we wouldn't be winning games if they weren't willing to do The bits that go, a lot of it goes unnoticed, you know, the bits without the ball, being in good positions. So he can be really pleased with how he's learned, grown, and sort of beginning to see the value of that.
Kevin, they just keep on chalking up those victories, don't they? I mean, how impressed were you with that display at Blackpool?
Well, very impressed. Firstly, for the way we achieved the victory, we held on and battled all the way through second half when they were throwing everything but the kitchen sink at us. There was no subtlety to the Blackpool play in the second half. But the first half, we were absolutely outstanding. Some of our football was quite sublime. You know, we were cutting Blackpool to shreds at times, and we could easily have had 3 or 4 goals there. It could have been a bit of a walkover by half-time. But, you know, the goals didn't come, and we got our noses in front. The McAtee goal speaks for itself. It was fantastic ability from the lad. And then we just had to hold on for dear life. But that's the beauty about this Sheffield United side. I think Bogle picked up on it there. We've got the attacking flair in the team. We can cut teams apart. We can play through them. But when we have to defend, my God, we've got some good defenders. We've got some really top-class defenders in our side.
If I was to nitpick, though, Ellie, is there an argument to be had for Sheffield United maybe having to put teams away sooner than they are doing? We've seen quite a few tight wins recently, tight as in the scoreline, where Sheffield United have been comfortable, they've conceded a goal and just given that little bit of hope to the opposition.
I mean, there has been some games where it's been close, and obviously if you're not tight at the back and compact, you're going to open yourself up for that possibility. But yeah, I suppose the longer you leave it before scoring, fans, players, staff kind of get a bit on edge, and you've just got to keep your composure in that sense. And you know, they're playing well. They've got to believe in what they're doing and hope that it comes, hopefully sooner rather than later. But they know that they can grind out results, and we've got the quality in the front line to go and score those goals. So yeah, it's just a case of being patient with it as well, I think.
Yeah, we're always going to score goals. With the amount of attacking flair we have in our team, we're always going to get a couple of goals, you know, 1 or 2 or 3 goals. It's our defensive solidity that's got us, I think, where it is. You know, we've got the best defensive record in the whole division, especially away from home. We've only let in 10 goals away from home in 13 games. So we've been rock solid away from home. And as I say, as long as the team keeps going forward and doing their stuff going forward, I think we're good enough defenders to, you know, to make sure we keep it tight at the back. We will pick up points.
Can't help but feel, though, there's another gear to go with this team. Do you think that?
Yeah, I do, to be fair. Watching that, the last game as well, you kind of thought, could they give a little bit more? And we created a lot of chances in the first half, defended really well, but it just wasn't quite there. And I still think the fact that we, you know, could potentially put a bit more into the game and get a bit more from it is frightening, really.
Certainly is. And we've spoken before about the need to get players back from injury. Jayden Bogle, who we heard from a few moments ago, I think we're all big fans for what he gives the team in an attacking sense, aren't we? But his all-round game is really, really impressive, but he doesn't half like to get involved in attacks, doesn't he? As we saw so many examples of it in the last game.
Listen, I'll put my cards on the table. I'm a massive Jayden Bogle fan. I appreciate what Baldock brings to the team, but I think Bogle gives us a complete new dimension, especially as a wing-back. I mean, the wing-back role is made for someone like Jayden Bogle. You see there, this is remarkable, the way he keeps control of the ball, and then have the vision and the ability to just flick that ball inside. Wonderful, you know. So ever since he's got into the side, took him a while to become a Sheffield United player, because Baldock had been brilliant for 3 or 4 seasons. But when he got a run last season, we saw little glimpses and flashes of what he could do. And I think he's a huge asset on that right-hand side, I really do.
I remember the goal at Birmingham. Brilliant touch, great finish.
Fantastic, you know, quick feet, fantastic, just natural ability. You can't coach that or anything. That's instinctive, you know, just to sort your feet out and then slide it in. He's always going to get into those positions and do that.
I think you've got the personnel for that formation, you know, to have wing-backs. When you've got 3 centre-backs that you can just completely trust to defend and do their job, you can send the likes of Bogle, Baldock, whoever it is, forward, just let them go and do their thing, have the freedom to express themselves, and he did exactly that in the last game.
Well, they're modern-day wingers now, aren't they, really? No one really talks about wingers anymore. It's all wing-backs now.
No, I don't think there's a team in the division plays with wingers anymore. They're a dying breed, aren't they? But Bogle's the closest you're going to ever get to it, isn't he? Because you could actually play 4-4-2. You could play Baldock behind him if you needed to and just keep giving the ball to Bogle, couldn't you? And say, just keep taking your defender on. But in the modern game, you know, the wing-back, it's the wing-back role.
And we spoke about Kieran Clark earlier on. I feel a bit for Jack Robinson, who I'd become a real fan of for his energetic, his passionate displays, the way he goes and attacks everything. Kieran Clark's just come in and slowly nudged him out, hasn't he? But is it a tough choice that for the manager at the moment or not, Kevin?
I don't think it's a tough choice. I think Kieran Clark's experience and his ability maybe on the ball just gives him the nod about.
And the fact that
Robinson.
he's done it before with Newcastle, getting out of this division.
I think there's a lot to it. But yeah, I totally agree with you. And coincidentally, I think we'll see some highlights later of the game last season at Loftus Road. But Robinson scored a fabulous header, all about determination and drive, and that's what he gives to the team, plus his long throws as well. And again, we talked about squad and how strong we are and the rotation. Great to have someone like Robinson just to be able to slot in on that left-hand side centre-back role. Same with Basham. Basham's done nothing wrong, yet he finds himself out the side.
This has to be one of the best defences in the league. Obviously, statistically it is, but in terms of ability as well, it's got to be right up there, hasn't it?
We've just got so many players that, like Kev said, you can rotate in and out, and you know they're going to do a job. There's not one player coming in that you'd see a bit of a weak link as such, but all the guys that have come in have been absolutely solid, and that's credit to them. And the team environment is obviously right for them to be able to just keep coming in and out as they've been needed to.
And we've just had all this discussion, and we haven't even mentioned probably the best defender, the best player in the Championship this season, Anel Amahodic.
Yeah.
He's absolutely magnificent defender. He scored 4 or 5 goals for us, and he ends up in the opposition penalty box more times than not. I mean, what a wonderful defence we have.
It's great that you've got centre backs that can do the business in both boxes as well.
Absolutely,
attacking wise and cleaning up. So it's good to see.
Well, there have been some games that have been played today. You probably know all the results by now, but I'll tell you anyway. Burnley won at Swansea, so they've opened up a gap at the top of the table again, which of course Sheffield United will be looking to narrow. But as it stands, a 6-point lead for Burnley over Sheffield United. Also wins today for Watford. Middlesbrough really in form at the moment. West Bromwich Albion 2 under Carlos Corberán. Preston and Hull all winning today. But crucially, a win for Sheffield United re-establishes that 11-point lead over third. Is it now a 2-horse race for automatic promotion? What do we reckon?
Am I allowed to say yes?
Yeah, of course you are. Of course you are.
Because I genuinely think it is. Yeah, I mean, I put something on social media today, and all these Sheffield United fans go, "Don't say that. We can mess this up." Yeah, realistically, it's not going to happen, is it? I think we're too good. We're too strong a team to let that happen. Are we going to completely crumble and start letting in goals? I don't think we are. Are we going to stop scoring? No, we're not. So you have to say, I don't think it's absolutely clear cut. It's not a done deal, but we just have to keep picking up the points. We've also got, after tonight, we've got 11 games at home and only 9 away. So our home form is going to be key to it as well. We haven't been brilliant at home. We're not fantastic at home. We're better away, actually. Yeah. So I think all things considered, I'm more than confident that we've got enough to keep this run going.
Yeah. It's a big gap, isn't it, though, at this stage of the season? 11 points, effectively, that's Sheffield United losing 4 games with a goal difference as well, and other teams around them winning 4 on the bounce, potentially.
It's difficult because you never know what's going to happen. Sometimes you find yourself in a position where you've got a lot of injuries or your form just doesn't quite go your way, but the way we've been playing recently, I can't really see that changing. And when you've got a team that is so high on confidence, we've got so much breadth and depth in the squad, it's difficult to see that, slipping.
We've had all the injuries, haven't we?
Yeah.
We've had them. Hopefully, we've had our fair share, more than our fair share. So hopefully, we won't get too many more key injuries.
I think it's great when you've got 2 teams in form against each other at the top, like Burnley and Sheffield United. They spur each other on. Burnley got a 6th straight win today. Sheffield United looking to do the same tonight with victory at Queen's Park Rangers. And when you look at the last 5 games, well, it makes for very pleasant reading indeed. There was a time when the defeat to Rotherham appeared on this graphic. That's now disappeared, and it's just win, 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 win.
Looks nice,
brilliant,
doesn't it? All that nice green. It's fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's what you want to see. When you're in that top spot, every game that you're going into is essentially a cup final. You want to win, put pressure on teams around you, and you are your own worst enemy. You have to keep on top of your own form and take care of your own performances.
The only caveat I'd say, we do have some tough away games coming up. We've got to go to Burnley. We've got to go down to Millwall. I think we've got some other ones. We've got to go to Norwich, although they dipped off the pace a bit. We've got to go up to Blackburn. They seem to be on a bit of a roll. So, we've got some tricky games to go. But that's where I've just talked about the defensive quality. We won't be giving too much away. They'll be more worried about Sheffield United coming to their ground than we will be worried about going to theirs.
Let's have a look at Sheffield United's next 3 games then, and games that they'll be anticipating and looking forward to. The FA Cup journey starts this weekend, a trip to the Den 3 o'clock kickoff for that one. Sadly for us, no show due to broadcasting regulations, but we are back with you on the 14th for the trip for the game against Sheffield United here, I should say, Bramall Lane, 14th of January. We're on air from 2. And then on Friday, the 20th of January, it is the Blades against Hull City, 7:45 kickoff, and we are with you from 7 for that one. Right, we're going to reflect now on Sheffield United's last trip to Loftus Road. Kevin Gage has already alluded to it. Certainly proved to be a memorable one.
United probing, here's Berger on the charge. Berger, great run. Still Sander Berger. And Stevens. Crossters go in. And it's a decent ball in. And Charlie Austin. QPR the lead, and he has given QPR the lead. Plants the header into the corner. And United, they've had all the ball. Majority of the play has been in the QPR half, but they've been hit here and are trailing by a 1-0. Norwood's delivery right into the 6-yard area again. Given an opportunity. Decent looking ball and a wonderful save. It goes to the near post. There's the flicked header. And how did that stay out? Another deep one, Egan round the back. Berger, can he turn? He can. It's blocked. And Jay! Blades back on terms. And it's that man again, Ellerman and Jai. Blistering start to the second half, and United are rewarded. It's one apiece. Gibbs White will get to this. Looking for Berger. Clipped in by Norwood. It's been worked nicely. And Robinson powers in the header against his former club. Denied earlier by a terrific save. This time he makes it count, and United take the lead. Berger calling for it to his right-hand side. Here he is. 2 in the box, and it goes. Chance here, and it's blazed in by Conor Hourahan. First goal for Sheffield United for the Irishman, and he surely settled this game in stoppage time. Queen's Park Rangers 1, Sheffield United 3.
Well, we'd all take a repeat of that result tonight, wouldn't we? Right, time to see some of Ellie's teammates give their answers to the following questions. Which teammate would you take to a desert island? And is it Messi or is it Ronaldo?
Rach, if you could have one player on a desert island with you, who would it be?
Probably Noosh. I feel like she could laugh. She probably wouldn't know what to do, but I'd back myself. But she'd provide the entertainment, so we'll go with Noosh.
Right, we're going with Noosh. Noosh and Bethan are front runners. If you could be on a desert island, Courts, who would you be with?
I won't take none of you lot. I want the rest. I have to deal with you lot so many times a week. I'm going by myself.
Courts is retiring. She's not taking anyone with her. So, Grace, go on. Who are you taking?
Barks, I'd take you.
Oh, why would you take me?
Just because I think you keep me entertained.
Oh, yes, Grace. I'm up there in the top 3. Let's be having you. Yeah. You're on a desert island. You can only take one player. Who are you taking?
I'm going to say Bethan because we sit at the back of the bus together and we play cards.
So
and I think she'd be switched on as well. So
if you could be on a desert island with somebody, who would it be with?
I was going to pick Ray, but I'm going to say Shani now.
Shani, why?
Because I think it'd be a laugh.
Oh, yeah, not gonna
lie.
Like,
we're not gonna
lie. Shani would be funny.
Yeah, but it'd be a laugh, at least.
Yeah, you'd laugh. At least you'd laugh, dying laughing. I suppose that's better than nothing.
Messi.
Messi or Ronaldo?
Messi.
I'm not current affaring. Messi or Ronaldo?
Messi, it's not important.
Messi. Sky Sports will know. Come on, who's the GOAT?
Ronaldo.
Why are you pumping iron? Messi or Ronaldo?
Messi.
Messi or Ronaldo?
Ronaldo.
It's very open, this. I feel like there's only one winner, but it's definitely Messi. Oh, Laura Miller, welcome to the building. We'd like to ask you a question. It's not hard. The answer's very easy. Messi or Ronaldo?
Messi.
Sophie Barker with the question. She's a natural. She was after our job soon, wasn't she? She did really well there. But let's come to you guys. Messi or Ronaldo? Might as well.
Messi.
I did say Ronaldo, but I might change my answer.
You're allowed to do that?
Messi, yeah.
Pre-World Cup, would it have been Ronaldo?
Yeah, pre-World Cup.
Post-World Cup, Messi. Always Messi for
Always
you.
Messi, yeah.
Always Messi. And importantly, if you could take one player from your playing past to a desert island with you getting, who would it be? Who would go?
Have to give you some time about that. I can tell you it wouldn't be.
Who wouldn't it be?
It wouldn't be Wally Downs, that's for certain.
If he's tell us why?
No, he knows why.
All right, he knows why. Evening, Wally, if you're watching. Who would you take with you?
I'll take, it's a toss-up between Court Sweet McKirk, because I think she'd be switched on.
Right, okay.
And maybe Nom Hartley, because she's just very chilled. So
I was shocked that nobody said you on that VT
yeah,
there.
I know, same to be fair. They're missing one there.
You have to take it up with them tomorrow when you see them, when you're training. Looking at the season overall, though, Ellie, how would you look back on it so far? It's been a turbulent one.
Yeah, we had a decent start, but results haven't quite gone our way. I don't think performances have been as good as they should have been as well, to be fair. So the break over Christmas probably came at a good time. Hopefully we've all had a bit of a refresh and can really hit the ground running for this second part of the season. There's obviously a bit of changes going on in terms of management and things, but you know, we're just going to stick together as a group, try and get some points on the board and hopefully kickstart it in a positive way for this half.
As you say, you have had some testing fixtures, but by same token, is that an opportunity to see where you're at, see where you've got to go? Yeah,
for sure. We had quite a lot of Conti Cup games in like the latter stage of the year, so they're good tests against WSL oppositions, and in fairness, I thought we put in good performances given circumstances, and you know, we really stuck together and did get some good performances that we can take things from. So even though the results haven't gone our way, there's a lot we can take from those games, and hopefully, you know, taking that into the championship now, we can take confidence from it.
It's cup action for you next, isn't it? I think against
yeah,
Nottingham Forest. What kind of a test will that be for you?
Yeah, it'll be a challenging game. Nottingham Forest league below, but you know, they'll be a tough side. They'll be well up for it as well. Obviously, it's an opportunity for us to start well for this half of the year, and yeah, we take it as any other game. We want to get the win.
A chance to build momentum, perhaps going into the Birmingham game when the league campaign resumes, I guess.
Definitely, yeah. Obviously, the league is important. That's priority. So it's good in a sense that we have that game beforehand. Hopefully, we can put another good performance in, get a result, and take some momentum into that Birmingham game, because you know we've got a few home games coming up, and we want to be competitive in those, and like I said, just keep putting points on the board at this stage. And
I guess you'll be targeting those home games as an opportunity to really put some points on the board. And being at home, playing here now is a great thing, isn't it? Yeah, it's fantastic. We had the London City game just before Christmas. We had about 11,000 watching, which was unbelievable for us lot playing. And you know, to be at the Lane every week as our home ground helps with that, so we want to help put the performances in and get the points, and the fact that we've got the games, the starting games just there, our home games rather than away, I think that will help with that momentum building. Great crowd that, Kevin.
That's
11,000. That shows you that the game is developing in the way that we all hoped it would.
Yeah, it's still the ladies' team is still in the infancy, isn't it? It's only been going 3 or 4 years, isn't it? So yeah, I mean, 11,000 people is truly remarkable for the women's game there at home, and people enjoyed the game, and they'll come back and it'll just build. Yeah,
off the back of the Euros, and hopefully it'll grow again this year, because it's the World Cup later this year.
That's
it.
Well. Yeah, there's been a massive sort of shift in the perceptions around the women's game, and we've seen that in attendances and just the general attitude towards it, which is great to see. And you know, the support that we've had for our games has been fantastic, so hopefully that can continue to build, and we'll get the wins to support that as well.
And it looks like the group is a good one, you know, and that spirit, that morale is going to be important, isn't it? That you all pull together, stick together, and go through this rough patch. Yeah, I think in any team it's important that the off-pitch stuff is strong, and you know, when you've got a good team of players around you that can support you and help grind out results, that's important when you're going for a rough patch for sure. So we've all had a little bit of a refresh and a little bit of a break over Christmas, so hopefully we'll be good to go. Back to training tomorrow?
Back to training tomorrow, yeah.
How tough is that going to be? Are you going to be doing a lot of running tomorrow?
Yeah, we've done a bit, we've done a bit over Christmas, but it's the first one back's always going to be a bit.
I can tell she's not looking forward to it. She's smiling, but it's through gritted teeth, isn't it, Kev? You can see that.
God.
One too many mince pies.
Yeah, well, we're all guilty of that. But in terms of bad runs of form, you know, every player goes through it. Do you recall a time in your career where it went particularly badly, and what was the secret to getting out of it? Christmas parties aside being held, you know, at the start of the season.
That's a really difficult question. I think, you just have to believe in yourself and your ability to, perform on the pitch. But collectively, you just got to keep doing what you're good at, and everybody believing in your teammates as well and what you're trying to do, and having respect and confidence in the manager as well, listening to what they're going to say, and the coaches, of course. You just have to keep going, don't you? You can't throw in the towel. You just have to keep going, and hopefully, results will turn round.
Yeah.
Well, if you get the opportunity to come back, the ladies, please do. We, of course, are building up to Sheffield United at Queen's Park Rangers. Kick-off at 8 o'clock tonight. Let's remind you of the Sheffield United team news. And there are 3 changes for the Blades tonight, as we mentioned right at the top of the show. And coming in, we can see that Baldock is in at right back. There's a change as well in midfield. Tommy Doyle is in the starting lineup also, and John Egan is back from suspension. So that's how Sheffield United will go tonight at Queen's Park Rangers. We know that the system is going to be as it always is, and it's a system that works very well with Doyle and Berger pushing on, Norwood playing the quarterback role, as Kevin Gage has coined it. It's a good description because that's exactly how he'll play, and the back 3 now is becoming a mainstay of this team, really, and fingers crossed they can all stay fit. Clark, Egan, Ahmed Hodzic. They've got height in there as well. Ender Stevens, how do you see him at the moment? Because there's been question marks over his game that might have just tailed off recently. Does he need Max Lowe to be fit, to be pushing him again, as we've seen with Bogle and Baldock on the other side?
I think all players need players in the squad to push them, and Ender Stevens is no different. I like Ender Stevens. I think he's very, very good creatively going forward. Max Lowe has got a little bit more pace and physicality, maybe. He's a bit more of an athlete, but I think Ender Stevens has got a great left foot, and he creates things, and I love his little nutmegs that he can do in tight areas, things like that. He's a little bit different to Bogle, not quite as athletic, but he has the same effect. He can pick a pass and stuff, so no worries about him at all. Again, he was been out injured for a while, just coming back in and just finding his feet.
Tweak in midfield tonight. Doyle is in, McAtee drops out. But if we include McAtee in this part of the conversation, Berger along with Norwood as well, that's been the 3 over the last few games. What's impressed you about how they've complemented each other in there?
Yeah, I think they've played really well off each other. There's a real mixture between experience and youth, obviously with McAtee, and then you've got Norwood in there. Norwood, his stats speak for himself. He's been absolutely quality in possession. And all of them are grafting hard out of possession, which is the key thing you want from your midfield. You see their just desire to try and win the ball back. And yeah, all 3 of them I think have been working really well. So it'd be interesting to see how Doyle comes into that unit tonight.
Norwood's playing the best football of his career. Apparently that's what he says himself.
Yeah.
Which
it's
says
a big statement, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, he's been around, hasn't he? So he's had a few clubs. Importantly, he's had 3 promotions as well with different clubs. So he knows what it takes to be part of a promotion-winning team. So for the player himself to come out and say, "I'm playing the best I've ever played," I mean, that's some statement. But I can only agree with him because he's been remarkable. We all know about his passing range and his techniques and his ability. But for me, and this started in the middle of last season when Hecky took over, but he's added a little bit of nastiness, I'm going to call it, to his game. He gets tackles in and then he intercepts things and he disrupts play as well. So for me, he's become the complete midfielder. He's got a bit of everything.
And Berger, who we heard from earlier on, he's only recently come back into the team, still feel like he's not quite at optimum level yet, which is understandable, but when he's in full flow, what an asset he is to this team.
Yeah, definitely. Sometimes when you've been out for a little while, it does take you a little bit to find your feet, find your fitness as well. But we all know the quality that he brings, and I think Kev, you mentioned earlier how he just seems to glide past players and slow the game down. So it's nice to have options in the midfield, and they'll be giving Hecky a headache when all of them are up to speed.
And what we haven't mentioned is they've chipped him with the odd goal. As well. Tommy Doyle recently got his first for the club. Sanders got 3 or 4, I think now. Norwood as well. He's in on the act. So that's important, that you don't just focus on the 2 front men to be banging in the goals for you. You need everyone to be contributing, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're talking of the front men and the goals. I mean, McBurney's not even involved tonight, is he? So we're just I don't know what the problem is with him, or whether he's just having a little bit of trouble from his hernia operation. But hopefully, with this little bit of rest, a bit more recuperation, he'll come back to be part of that attacking unit. But yeah, we're spreading the goals around. The defenders are scoring as well. We mentioned Anel's scoring. Kieran Clark's got on the score sheet the other week as well. So I'm sure Bogle will get a few as well, by the way, because he's popping up in the box all the time, isn't he? So yeah, we need to share the goals around. You don't want a one main striker who's scoring 25 goals, because if anything happens to him, the rest of the team's struggling.
Yeah, definitely. It just comes down to that strength of the full squad, doesn't it? The more players you have available, the more opportunities and minutes that they get in, they're going to get their own confidence is going to increase. And like you said, if you've got one striker who's putting them all away, it's almost a bit of a risky game to play, because if something happens, you need to know that you can actually score goals from other places. And even if the goals don't come early on in games, we know that they're going to come from somewhere, and we've got multiple options that players that we know are capable of putting it away.
And QPR, who they play tonight, they're a mystery to me, because there are times where you think this is a team that can really push for the playoffs, and then you see them the next week and you think they're going to really struggle. They've changed manager, of course. Mick Beale's gone to Rangers. Neil Critchley's come in. What kind of a challenge do you see from them tonight,
Well,
Kevin?
they're in absolute turmoil, the truth be told, isn't it? As you mentioned, the managerial situation, which is a bit of a farce, really. They've got a few illnesses as well. I read that a few players are ill. Some of their best players are out ill. So I think they've lost the last 4 at home.
Yep.
Not just that, they've got absolutely thumped by Luton 3-0 and Burnley, I think it was 3-0 in the last 2 home games. So yeah, to say there you go on the graphic, to say they're in a bit of a free fall would be an understatement. Now, is that a good time to go to QPR? Because you can't keep losing your home games. There has to be some kind of turnaround at some stage. But are they just in such a bad state that, yes, it's a great time to go to Loftus Road, flying high as we are?
They came here and won, though.
They did. I don't think they deserved anything from that game, because we had over 20 shots at goal. So we really should have romped it. But they did have some real individual flair, good quality players, in key areas. Whether they're playing tonight, I'm not sure.
Well, let's have a look then, shall we, at the QPR team and how they line up tonight. A couple of changes from that defeat to Luton. Kevin quite rightly says there's been a bit of illness in the camp. Laird drops out, Kakai comes in at right back, and Chris Willock, who got the winning goal here earlier in the season, is in. So a couple of changes from the last game. So Dieng in goal. We're expecting Kakai, Dickey, Dunn and Parle at the back. Iroegbunam and Field in midfield, and then it's Willock, Robertson, Chair in behind Dykes. Chair is always the one that I pick out. Yes, you're quite right, Kevin. Sheffield United played well here, but lost. But Chair was the one, wasn't he, who was pulling the strings. He was looking like the one who could make something happen for them.
He was the one that was ill last week. Unfortunately, he seems to have recovered. But he's wearing the number 10 from QPR, and there's some very, very good players who've worn the number 10 at QPR over the years.
Yeah.
So big boots to fill. But he's the one that makes him tick. He plays in the traditional number 10 role as well. So he'll be in and around Norwood. I just mentioned about Norwood's defensive qualities and how he's improved his game. He might need to have a little nod to make sure he's taking control of Chair.
We've picked out 5 players to look out for Queen's Park Rangers tonight. You'll not see much of Jake Clark-Salter because he's not starting. But who else leaps off the page there for you, Ellie?
Obviously, you've got Willock, who we know scored against us before and has got a fair few, goals to his name. Dykes as well as the other one. So they're threats that we need to stay switched on to in terms of the back three. And Chair, as we've mentioned as well. Don't want him getting on the ball too much. So I'd probably go with those 3.
Yeah, I mean, Lyndon Dykes not exactly prolific since he's been at Queen's Park Rangers, a Scotland international. You would expect, wouldn't you, the likes of Anel and John Egan and Kieran Clark to be able to take care of him. He's in for a tough night, I would have thought, Lyndon Dykes tonight.
Yeah, we've already talked about how good our 3 centre halves are. So I don't think they're going to be losing any sleep about playing against him. To be honest, I'm fully confident that they'll be as strong and as solid as they usually are.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with that. I think take care of the defensive stuff first. We know we've got the quality to go forward and win games. So, as long as the back 3 can deal with their forward players, which I believe they could do, then it gives us a good foundation.
A nice early goal would help, wouldn't it, tonight? A crowd that are restless anyway. If Sheffield United go there and, get a foothold in the game early on.
It helps with that momentum side of things.
Sure.
Within the game itself, if you get an early goal, you're high in confidence. QPR are going to probably sit back and think, here we go again. And it's important to just kind of get on the front foot.
Well, Queen's Park Rangers have won just one of their last 9 matches. They suffered a heavy defeat to Luton last time out, but Blades midfielder Ollie Norwood thinks that makes them dangerous.
Well, they lost on the other night as well, didn't they? So expect a reaction. They'll be probably confident. As you said, it was quite a bit ago that they beat us at Bramall Lane. I don't know how that night, to be honest. I thought we played really well that night. They got a goal on the break, but we've got to go there and impose ourselves, as we always say. We've got to impose our game plan, impose ourselves on them. Obviously, they'll be hurting from the 29, so we've got to expect a reaction. They've got some good players, some really good players, and we're expecting a tough game as always in the Championship.
We all know about your passing range. Everyone marvels at some of the passes you do diagonally side to side, but also there's other aspects to your game as well. I mean, how much are you enjoying the battle at the moment? Because you put 1 or 2 really important challenges in defensively.
Yeah, that's part and parcel of the job, isn't it? You can't just be in this league. You can't just be concentrating on getting on the ball all the time. It's about doing your job defensively as well, and that was something Hecky spoke about in the off-season with me. And like I said, I'm still learning. Even though I'm 31 and played 500 games, I'm still learning, and I think the 3 coaches and the manager, Hecky, Jack and Stu have been, for me personally, have been brilliant, and as I said, I'm still learning from them, and as I said, we can get even better.
You've been ticking off some appearance milestones recently. I think the next one, though, is perhaps 200 Sheffield United appearances. That's not too far away at the moment.
No, it's not. Obviously, the milestones are great. It's more when you retire, isn't it? You look back and say you played this many games at this level and enjoyed that, didn't enjoy that, enjoyed that, didn't enjoy that bit. But football's full of ups and downs. It's the best job in the world. We are privileged to be doing it. And you've got to come in with a smile on your face every day. And I think if you walk around here at the minute, I think you'll see a lot of happy faces. And we're going in the right direction, and we've just got to keep doing that.
Yeah, he's playing well, Ali, but interesting to hear him say there that he's still learning as well at 31.
Yeah, I think you're always learning. You might be put in a different position, play a different system. Ollie will have different players around him. We've seen the back 3 changing, and it's getting used to that and used to the role that, of course, the manager wants him to play, whether that's focusing on the defensive side of his game. There's always things to be learning.
I mean, you're obviously thrilled, Kevin, with how he's done, particularly this season, but we have to mention Stuart McCall here. But I'd be intrigued to know what role he's played in Ollie taking his game to the next level, because we know about how good he was when he played down here and elsewhere. Stuart McCall, a player who took care of the ball, could spot a pass, and he's playing in a similar vein, I think, to him. Yes, I just wonder whether that's a relationship that's been really crucial to him being able to take his game on again this season.
I think you're 100% right, Paul. I think it's interesting that he mentioned him on the VT there, and I think McCall has been a big influence on him as well. Yes, the manager will speak to him about what he wants him to do, but McCall can just give him little pointers about where to position himself on the field. I think Oliver Norwood's a far better ball player than Stuart McCall. Stuart McCall was a bit more of a gritty, give it and pass it 5-10 yards. He wasn't pinging the ball all over the pitch. But the similarities are there. Perhaps it's no coincidence that since McCall's been back, Oliver Norwood has raised his game to these superlative levels.
It's intelligence, isn't it, though, that McCall can pass on as well, having been there, seen it, done it.
Yeah, definitely. You've got experience, very experienced head and experienced player that Ollie Norwood and the other guys can learn off, and I'm sure that they'll be feeding off that information and want to learn as much as they can on the training pitch. And we've seen from Ollie's performances recently that he's definitely put a lot of that into practice.
Yeah, and when times were tough, and there have been a few tough spells for the team, he's never one to hide, is he? No. He always demands the ball, gets on the ball. We touched on this last time when Brian Dean was in the studio, of course, but he never shirks it.
No.
And that's great. You need a player who's prepared to be brave and get on the ball in difficult times, never mind when they're good.
There was even a section of the crowd who were getting on his back. Not too long ago either.
But he never reacted to it, did he? No. He just got on with it and kept trying it.
He's experienced enough now. He's played enough games, 500 as he's just mentioned. That's a lot of games, by the way. He's experienced enough now to know, what makes him tick as a footballer, why he's in the team, what his role is in the team. So he has to go and take responsibility for the ball. And a couple of passes may go astray, and the crowd might go, ooh, but he has to keep getting on the ball. That's his job.
Especially as a midfielder, you can't have midfielders that are going to hide or shy away from situations when things aren't going your way. And Ollie's an experienced head; he knows how to fix those situations. Yeah. He knows what, like Kev said, makes him tick. So it's great to see that he can take those situations under control and lead the boys.
And even if he's not having a typical Oliver Norwood game, if he's not 8, 9 out of 10, he's because of his newfound kind of gritty ability to do the other side of the game. So the interceptions, the tackling, the disruption of play, he's still bringing something to the team there.
Mm-hmm. And the trust that the back three must have in him as well, because quite often it's one of those three that are giving him the ball to start attacks off. That's crucial, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, they'll know his quality. We know how good he is, finding passes and pinging a long ball as well. And it's important that you have that trust in your holding midfielder, and likewise that Ollie can trust the 3 players that are behind him, whoever that might be. Building those relationships and communication each game, that's going to strengthen that. And the way that they've been playing at the minute, you can see that those relationships are strong.
And of course, when Norwood drops deep to get the ball, it allows the outside centre halves to get another 10, 15 yards up the pitch, because they're usually going to be in a position to receive the ball from Norwood. And instead of playing a flat back 3, all of a sudden we've got attacking centre backs.
Yeah.
You're about to leave us shortly for commentary, so let's get some more thoughts from you on Queen's Park Rangers tonight. How do you see this one going?
I see us keeping a clean sheet, and I see us winning the game. I think we're going to continue our run. Yeah. I think QPR will give it full beans for 15, 20 minutes. They'll do their best, but I just think our quality will tell in the end.
You touched on it earlier on, Ellie. Is the only thing really that can beat Sheffield United at the moment Sheffield United?
I mean, you've got to take the situation into your own hands, and I think building on from the last game, you've got to take control of it. And the way we've been playing, I just can't see us slipping up unless it's a fault of our own.
So prediction then? What did you say? Did you say it?
A clean sheet and 2-0.
Clean sheet 2-0.
The words right out of my mouth.
You see, great minds think alike.
Well, fingers crossed, you're both right. Kevin, we'll let you skip off, as you normally do, to the commentary booth and prepare for the game tonight. Queen's Park Rangers against Sheffield United draws ever nearer. Let's now hear from Sheffield United first team coach Jack Lester, who's got the latest, first of all, on Ollie McBurney.
Ollie Mac's getting closer. No real problems from the other night, so yeah.
And QPR as a test, I mean, different to when you last played them. Obviously, a managerial change has happened since they're at Loftus Road. What can we expect?
Well, we can expect a tough game. They've had back-to-back home games. They'll be looking to bounce back from the result the other night. They played well the other night. Just didn't get the result. We've played them once before. I thought we played really well against them up here. Just didn't quite get the break. But it'll be a very good game, another competitive one, and one we'll be ready for.
And maybe trying to channel the experience of last season, because that was a crucial win right at the back end of the last campaign at Loftus Road.
Yeah, that was fantastic. The second half performance down there was I really enjoyed. I thought it was quite special actually. Again, it was that personality. There's a relentless nature to it. We will be looking to do something similar, but it's never quite as easy as that. Both teams will be trying to win.
Jack Lester there with his thoughts on the game at Loftus Road tonight. Kick-off not far away. The teams will be in the tunnel shortly. You went for 2-0 like Kevin did, but we're going to have to try and split you just in case it does finish 2-0. We've got to go for goal scorers. Kevin went for Njai and Berger to score tonight. Yeah. You're going for?
Njai and, who did I say, Ollie Norwood.
Ollie Norwood, who's featured a lot in the show tonight. That could well be a sign, you never know. Njai, we haven't spoken about him tonight, which is amazing, because normally I always bring his name up because he's just a wonderful, wonderful talent and worth the admission fee alone, isn't he, more often than not? Yeah, definitely. He's an unbelievable player to watch. I think his quality on the ball is just great. The way he moves it, shifts his body. He's a creative player, front foot, forward thinking, exactly what we want in a striker, and his goal record as well for this season speaks for itself, so he's having a great season. Yeah, we've spoken to guys in the past who sat in that chair and wondered whether he looked at is it Forrest now? Should have scored today as well. I can't believe I forgot his name. Gibbs White. When Gibbs White left, whether he saw that as an opportunity to pick up the baton himself and be the next Gibbs White. So. Yeah, I think Gibbs White had a really good season when he was here, and I think it probably
fair to say they were big boots to fill, and Jai stepped up and done that, and contributed with goals and assists as well. You know, he's got more to his game than just putting the ball in the back of the net, which is great to see from a striker, and he's been instrumental in a lot of the goals that we've scored this season.
And physically?
Physically,
probably toughened up a bit as well.
Yeah, I'd say so, definitely. And that comes with playing games. It comes with experience, getting loads of minutes under your belt, and just kind of finding your feet in that sense. You know, you're going to come up against tough defenders, big guys, and you need that physicality, that side to your game as well, which I think he's found.
Yeah, I asked Kevin earlier on whether he felt it was a two-horse race for automatic promotion. I didn't ask you specifically. Do you think it is?
I'm going to say yeah. But like I say, the pressure is always there. Some players and teams play better under pressure, so you know that can add to it. But yeah, there's still quite a few games to go, but I do think that we're in really good form and a great position at the minute. Yeah, what we haven't touched on today, though, is the January transfer window, which is open. Crucial, isn't it, that everybody stays? Yeah, is that definitely the best piece of business that the Blades can do? Yeah, I'd say so. You know, I think we've got a really good group, a lot of variety in terms of the types of players. But you know that even though there's been rotation, be it through injuries or resting players, everybody that's come in has done a job and is contributing to the results that the team is getting at the minute. So I wouldn't really see any need to, you know, recruit in certain areas specifically at this time. The manager will keep a level head throughout. He always does. How much credit does he deserve for what he's managed to do with this team so far? Yeah, great credit. I mean, you know, the results before Christmas were really good as well, and given the injury circumstances, it was fantastic that we could grind those out at a time that was difficult. So now he's got more options to pick from. Hopefully it'll just get better. Hopefully it will do, and let's hope Sheffield United can start the new year with a bang. Tonight's featured match is just around the corner. Queen's Park Rangers against Sheffield United. Let's hand you over to your commentators at Loftus Road. It is Kevin Gage and Matt Young. We'll see you back at half-time.